With my homework quilts done, so nice. Look at that, I love that. There's no tricky cutting, no tricky sewing. Prior to feeling this, my favorite thing was With my homework quilts done, it is now time to dive into one of your quilts. And I'm excited to say I'm going to start with Sherry's, I think. I intentionally did not open her package until now because I wanted to do it on camera. I just wanted to show you guys what a sweetheart she is. She sent me some extra things in her package. It's just, a sweet little, it's actually a Valentine's card. She said that I know it's a little early for Valentine's, but she was sending me some extra little gifts, and that's the next big holiday that's coming up, so it's suited. But I just wanted to show what she's done, and we'll look at her quilt top together for the first time. Just such a sweet thing. She sent me extra batting, extra fabric, and some pins, and some additional fabric. Oh gosh, look at this. A Jen Kingwell book. Oh my gosh, I love Jen Kingwell. Quilt Lovely, 15 Vibrant Projects Using Piecing and Applique. I think she said this was one that's been out for a little while. I'm so excited about this. Oh. So let's get a rundown of things. It is, I don't see a publisher's page. Got a contents page before we have publisher's information. Maybe it's at the end. Publisher's information is back here. About author, 2015. So yes, this book came out in 2015. So it's been, 10 years old now. My goodness, 2015 is 10 years ago. Time does fly. I'm so excited. And I think just glancing through it, you can see that there's been evolution in her skill set and design, but it's definitely characteristic of Jen Kingwell, everything I'm seeing here. I'm so excited about this book. Thank you, Sherry. And even though I'm showing you guys, oh, look, Sherry had gotten this book used, and inside of it are some notes that somebody included. I don't know if it was her or if it was the original owner of the book. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to go through it. But what I wanted to say is just because Sherry's done this really sweet thing and she's super awesome and she's, been so generous to me, I don't want to imply that that's expected from anybody. As you're sending your quilts in to me, we've got two quilt tops to look at. As you're sending your quilts in to me, don't feel any pressure to do any of the extra stuff that Sherry's done. It is greatly appreciated, and I know it comes from her heart, and so I wanted to showcase that she is such a sweetheart, but it is not expected. I just want y'all to know that. And will I be putting these to use? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sure will. Okay, we've got to open these up and see what we can see about them. I'm going to put both on the long arm, and we'll take a look. All right, I got the two quilt tops up on the long arm. In doing so, I uncovered the pins that I almost forgot to mention. I love a magic pen, and these are two I did not have, so I'm going to enjoy testing those out. Magic pens are not cheap, so having a couple of samples of this different types is great. This is a fork pen, and it's 0.5 millimeters, so I think that's more their standard, which they call fine. I really enjoy the extra fines that I have, but I have some other fines and I enjoy them as well because they still seem to be smaller in diameter than some of the pens that are out there. But this set is a little bit bigger. It's a 0.6, my eyes were playing tricks on me, 0.6 millimeters. But this set is different. It's a flathead pen. They're all kind of flatheads, but this is a bigger flathead, and they're called a fine. They're 2 inches long at a 0.6. These actually would be nice for loading your quilt top if you're using pens, because you need a really flat head. But the magic pins are just, in my mind, my personal opinion, they're just on another level. Oh, I like that a lot. It's got a curve in it. Interesting. I didn't realize that. They all have a curve in them. Can you see that? It's a bend right here. That's fun. And they're forked, which I'm assuming is for holding together where seams match up. I usually put a pin on either side of a particularly picky seam allowance. Seams, 5 of these. Is that right? No, 6 of these. 4 of these and 6 of these. So they all have a really comfortable grip. They're heat resistant. Yeah, I love these. Thank you very much, Sherry. Thank you very much. I have, now let's look at the fabric. I want to look at that really quickly and then we'll move on. This is so nice. Look at that. I love that. I love it, love it, love it. What is this? This is Flower Market by Courtney. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Cerruti. And it's for Anna Maria's Conservatory. Rosebuds, it's called. That's lovely. It's not going to be large enough for any of the backings. She sent Kona fabric for that, I believe. I need to go look in her other box. That's a really pretty fabric. Thank you again, Sherry. I really appreciate it. You're just so thoughtful. I'm not going to get all this out. I just want you to be able to see. This is Sherry's backing fabric. It's been underneath the long arm, so it's got a stray thread on it. And then she sent 2 battings. They're 72 by 90. They match. So this is her box. So I have plenty of this. There's going to be leftover of this. That's so generous of her. I believe, if I remember our conversation correctly, the extra of this is for me to keep. But for standard operation, the way this works is whatever backing you send to me, if you send it straight from Joann's or you send it from home or whatever, and I have to cut into it, whatever is left over comes back to you whenever I ship the quilt to you. So don't feel like you have to, if you have to send something from Joann's at a full yard and you only need to send me a 3/4 of a yard, that you're wasting money. That fabric will come back to you. It feels good. This is a Kona. It's got a nice feel to it. Put her card back in her box. This box, I want to show you what's in here very quickly and talk about something. Talk about this batting. It is so scrumptious. It just is absolutely delightful. This box is from Jody. This is her batting, and I want to open up her quilt top too. I might typically just open them up one at a time, but I wanted to go ahead and look, she's included the size, which is great. But it's been a week or so since she sent this, and I don't want to wait another week. I like for people who send me their things to get some kind of gratification, acknowledgement, right, a little bit more promptly. But I wanted to do it on camera right now. Okay, this is my backing. Where is my quilt? I feel it in there. Or do I? So clever. She had it inside the backing. So first, let's look at our backing. I think it's a beautiful combination with the colors I'm seeing on that quilt top. What is this? This is Kansas Troubles Favorites by Kansas Troubles Quilters for Moda. It's really pretty. And talking about having a soft hand to it, that's nice. That's very nice. I'm going to lay this one out right here. Let me move some things. Jody, this is a lovely quilt. Absolutely lovely. I love everything about it. So I'm seeing a lot of batiks. I think that's all that's in here is batiks. It's just beautiful. And it's just so simply created, right? There's no tricky cutting, no tricky sewing. It's just so beautifully put together. And it's just such a nice curation of fabrics. You can't go wrong. All right, now let's look at Sherry's. I can tell you, when I put these on the long arm, I immediately knew which one I was going to do first. And I bet you can guess too. This is the patriotic one of Sherry's. It definitely screams July, summertime around the 4th of July. You've got your butterflies and you've got your red, white, and blue stars. It's lovely. And I think it would take a really nice edge to edge quilt motif. And I think that's the way that this one needs to be handled. It doesn't scream at you that it has to have custom quilting. It could. You could come in here and do all of this red, white, and blue in one motif and then do all these triangles in another. I don't think we have to. I think it's fine just to do an edge to edge on this. I think if I'm going to go to the steps of learning some custom quilting on any of these sample quilts, it's going to be on this other one. I think this one represents a great opportunity to come in and treat all these internal squares differently than the sashing in between the blocks and differently than this area here. I already know enough to do that. There may be more efficient ways to do it than what I know already. Sure there is, but I can handle that. The knowledge I don't currently have is how to fill up this area. I know that would be a matter of doing a multi-point set to your area, which I don't think is that hard to do, so I'm willing to learn that. I think this quilt creates a great opportunity for me to test out some custom quilting, as does Vicky's, which I'm not going to open right now. We're going to do that on another video. I don't want to have too many out at one time. Right now I have 3 quilts out. I just needed to know what my next step is, and I knew I needed to decide between these 3. So I think what I'm going to do is practice further on this one, and then I think I'll go over to Jody's, work on Jody's, and then I will either come back to this one to practice some custom or then go to Vicky's. Vicky's, I know I'm going to do some trickier custom, which is why I'm putting it to the last of the line. I want to get a little bit more familiarity with what I'm doing before I venture into that world. Okay, this is exciting. So this one gets folded up and put back. So does Jody's. And then I'm going to get this one pressed and get it loaded. I got everybody's quilts put up, and before I move on, I want to talk about this batting. I don't know how you can tell on a screen how delightful this is. This is Kyoto bamboo. I think I'll put it on the screen to make sure you can understand the word I'm saying, because I'd heard it pronounced, but I didn't know how to spell it myself. Kyoto, bamboo batting. And it feels like a wool almost. It's got a little bit of that loft to it, like that really fuzzy loft. And I'm going to pull up my fabric batting that I love so much. Prior to feeling this, my favorite thing was a wool batting or this. This is my Warm and White, so white from the Warm Company. And, clearly that's a much lower loft than what this is. Let's get just an edge of this. See if you can see the difference there. Ignore my hands, they're winter dry. But this feels so much more like wool. And this is lovely. I really do like this a lot. But this, my goodness, that's nice. This is some scraps of the wool that I've used. Now, it's a lot more airy than the bamboo. I think I have to look it up, but I feel like, this definitely has some benefits when it comes to keeping you warm and cool during the summer. And some thermal properties to the wool that makes it really advantageous at times. And this is certainly delightful to hand quilt into, but and then of course it's just yummy, right? But this is a nice blend between the two. So you got that yumminess of this, and it's still pretty airy, but it's also got some structure to it. It's not so fluffy. Lovely. So this is your Kyoto bamboo, your wool, and then your warm and white. Of course, sometimes if you have a primarily light or very white fabric on your quilt, this might be the way you want to go, just because you're not going to get any shadowing from it. Hey, and thanks to Sherry sending us another type of batting, we can make another comparison. This is Pellon's natural cotton batting, needle punched with a stabilizing scrim. That's going to be interesting. Do a little comparison. I know it's going to be difficult because you can't feel the difference between this and this, but maybe you can get the concept. So it definitely has a different hand to it than what this one does. This is definitely a pretty thin batting. Let's see what the thickness is on just one layer of this. There's not a lot of difference. I would say that this is thinner. It's hard to tell. Actually, I don't know. Actually, this may be thinner. Just feeling it is all I'm going by, right? No actual measurement. But this might be thinner, which could be advantageous. I've used this in a quilt before that I wish, because it was used for a little bitty girl, 2-year-old. I had wished that it would have had more pliability, more drape to it. This might drape better because it's thinner. And this is something also that if you wanted to double up in your quilt, then you're getting double, but you're not getting too thick either at the same time. Okay, so this has a little bit of says it's got a scrim in it. So you should be able to feel the resistance. There's definitely some resistance that way. This probably has a scrim in it too, I don't know. But it gives no stretch in either direction. This one has a stretch this direction. There's a stretch, but not this way. One of the homework quilts that I did had, it was just warped, very warped, and it was difficult. Which one was it? I think it was for that bigger homework one with all the one that had so many problems with it, with all the colors, the Kaif fabrics. Okay, so big difference. This is still the most scrumptious. This has a scrumptious factor to it. This is lovely because it comes in white and it has a nice feel to it on one side. This is its fluffier side. Wonder if that's the case here. See, both sides of this feels like it's got that fluff to it, more so than this one. But these are really pretty comparable. And they're 100% cotton, so they should be. But this one, again, has no stretch in either direction. This has stretch in one direction. So it can be kind of warped out of alignment. I don't know about the stretchability of this yet. And of course, this can easily be stretched. This wool can easily be stretched, pulled and thinned, and so you got to monitor that whenever you're cutting it. You just want to put it up to your face and cuddle up with it. It's so lovely. All right, I'm going to put things back together in their boxes and go downstairs and have some lunch, and then come back up and get things loaded to start on Sherry's quilt. She and I talked yesterday that she would be working until 3 my time, and so at that time we could talk about what motifs we might put on her quilt. So I'd like to be back up here and have some ideas to present to her before then. This one is Jody's. Let's get a quick measurement. 52 by 66.